Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever or whenever you are. Welcome to the MyHeritage webinar series. Today, the face of MyHeritage and my good friend Daniel Horowitz is with us for a fun topic, 10 more secrets to using MyHeritage. The last time he did a 10 secrets webinar, you loved it so much that we had to get him back to let us in on some more tips. Daniel is live at MyHeritage headquarters in Tel Aviv, Israel, and you are live from these 26 countries. Thanks everyone for sharing part of your day with us. You know him well, but in case you're new, I want to tell you just a little bit about Daniel Horowitz. Daniel is a genealogy expert at MyHeritage, providing key contributions liaising with genealogy societies, bloggers, and media, as well as lecturing and attending conferences around the world. Dedicated to genealogy since 1986, he was the teacher and the study guide editor of the family history project Searching for My Roots in Venezuela for 15 years. Daniel is involved in several crowdsourced digitization and transcription projects and holds a board-level position at the Israel Genealogy Research Association. Please put together your virtual hands and let's give Daniel Horowitz a nice warm webinar welcome. Daniel, how are you? And welcome to the show.
I am excellent, Jeff, just because I am here with all of you from around the world. I'm extremely happy to be able to be here again and again and again, and every time and any time that you will ask me, because for me, this hour and a little bit more that we spend together, it's not job, it's not work, it's just pure pleasure. So thank you very much for the invitation, and more than happy to show you 10 more secrets of using MyHeritage. And as you very well said, we did almost about a year, a little bit more actually, of a year ago, we did the first top 10 secrets of using MyHeritage. And you can see here the URL, and I'm sure Jeff will put the URL in the comments for you later to go back into that one if you missed it. And this is the content that we talked about in that time. So yes, I had to work a little bit harder than usual to find another 10 secrets. Not necessarily because we don't have enough, but on the contrary, we have so much on MyHeritage that it was very difficult to me to select the 10 most important ones, or the second 10th most important one. I also want to say that I ordered these ones not on the importance of them, but on the regular process that you will do with a family tree and whatever MyHeritage features offers you. So without further ado, let's go to number one. And number one is import a GEDCOM. Because a lot of you out there, and I know and understand this, have a family tree someplace else, either in another website or another software, and that's perfectly fine. But why not having it also on MyHeritage? Especially because, as I'm going to show you today, it's A, very easy, and B, free. So why not? And I'm going to start guiding those of you who, if there are another 2 or 3 people in the audience, still don't have an account on MyHeritage. I cannot believe you, but just in case. This will be the homepage of MyHeritage if you don't have an account with us. And you will see a lot of fields over there to put the information and to start building a family tree and opening this free account. And I have heard a lot of people saying, okay, but I don't want to start from scratch. I want to bring the family tree that I have someplace else. Well, here it says very clear, orange over white. Import your tree in GEDCOM format. The form is going to change a little bit. We will still need the basic information of you in order to open that account and being able to connect and identify you in that family tree that you're going to be uploading. No, you don't must be in that tree, but in case that you are, and at least most of us genealogists, we start our family tree with ourselves, we will be very easily able to connect you there. So all what you need to do is to browse on your computer, and you will need to find out where you have that GEDCOM. And that GEDCOM, either you download it from another website or you export it from your software. I will suggest you to save it on the desktop, at least temporarily, and that is mostly what I do when I want to find very easy the files that I'm looking for. And once you have done that, just click on the to proceed with the progress of the process, and you will be right there. Now, what if you already have a family tree on MyHeritage? Can you upload another tree on a GEDCOM? The answer is, of course, you can. Under family tree, you see that the third option is, or was, and didn't stay there, import GEDCOM, right there. And when you select that option, we will allow you to follow a similar process when you can browse your computer. Again, the file must be downloaded and reachable from your computer wherever or however you are organizing your computer, your desktop. And once you have found it, you only need to click the upload button. We're going to let you know if there is any troubles with the GEDCOM or if it goes up smoothly. One thing I will warn you right now is that some websites allows you to export a privatized GEDCOM. It's my understanding also other websites, other softwares as well. I will not suggest you to do that, because that means that every living individual is going to come as private with no information, meaning you will not be able to see it on the MyHeritage website, and MyHeritage will not be able to use it to find you matches. So make sure it's not privatized, and MyHeritage will take care of privatizing living individuals and letting you adjust the setting of the tree and the website depending on if you want to open it to everybody or not. So as the message says over there, we will let you know by email when the tree is available. And this can take either from a couple of seconds or hours. Why? Well, because depending how big your GEDCOM is. In my case, my tree has 8,000 people, and it took about 15 to 20 minutes in order to process the whole information and to receive that email on my inbox saying that my family tree is ready. And here you will notice that MyHeritage is providing you with two links. One is the one directly to that family tree that you just uploaded. The second one is the one to manage your family tree. And that is the second secret or tip that I want to give you on MyHeritage and how to manage those trees. From your website, you will be able to go under Family Tree. You will find right under Import GEDCOM the option to manage trees, and it will open and show you all the trees that you have on MyHeritage on one website. And yes, you can have more than one tree. And yes, the total amount of individuals is going to count for your quota. You will not be able to be associated to both trees. So if one will be from my father's side and one will be from my mother's side, I, as a user, will have to decide to which one I want to be associated. Now, here is a secret for the very advanced people out there. Whenever you import a tree into MyHeritage, we're not going to merge it with any previous trees that you may have there. We're not going to compare those trees. We're not going to even look into the tree. We're going to import it straight as it is. So in any case that this new tree is very similar or even identical to the one you already had up there, well, this is a little bit of bad news for you because you're going to have everything duplicated. So be careful and make sure when you upload that GEDCOM that this is really what you want to do. And then come here and decide what you want to do with your old tree. You can see on the right side that you can either view the tree or you can edit the settings. You can download the original GEDCOM if you uploaded a GEDCOM. In my first tree, you can see it says the source FTB. That is because I'm working through the software, the Family Tree Builder free software that MyHeritage has. I can also export my tree as a GEDCOM. And here is the second part of my advanced suggestion. Once you have a family tree on MyHeritage, if you use this one as the main one and then you download or you export the GEDCOM and you update the other website or the other software you manage, I'm pretty sure they will be able to merge them appropriately and make sure no duplications are having. Another thing that you can do is to set that new tree as the default tree. Of course, that when you have only one tree, that is the default. And even more important, and you may not learn this from any other website or place, here is where you can delete your tree. And yep, it is your tree, and MyHeritage allows you to delete it with no problem. We may ask you a couple of times, especially if we detect that it's a big tree and may be very important for you. So we just want to make extra sure you didn't click that button by mistake and then everything goes down the drain. So it may require a couple of links to be clicked, and maybe even if it's above certain number, even contacting or answering to our support people that will contact you, make sure that this is what you want. But be assured that if this is what you want, this is what you get. Now, if we're already here, let's go to the tree settings that I mentioned before, because I want to make sure the tree is exactly as you want it, with the right name, with the proper permissions of other site members to download this tree, if that is what you want to allow them. If you want people to be able to touch it or just to see it or to invite other people. And again, to apply these permissions also to other trees that you may have in MyHeritage. In another hands, we're talking about giving you total control of what's happening with your tree. Now, once you have your tree up and once you are working with your tree, you may want to print charts and books, and MyHeritage allows you to do that totally free. Although I also have to be very honest with all of you, I don't like to print that much my tree, because as soon as it comes out from the printer, it's already outdated. Somebody was born, somebody died, somebody married. But in some cases, I do print my tree when I'm going to visit somebody, when I'm going to travel abroad to find family relatives, or whenever I go to an archive and I will not be able to have my computer with me. I use that printout in order to take notes on the tree. One of the things or the places where you can print is right there from the homepage. And sometimes I do print this view if this is the family that I'm going to visit or research. But we have many other ways, better ways even, to print charts and books. Right there in the same family tree menu. I like to stick and be cohesive across my presentation. So once you select that, you will get to this page where we're going to offer you a variety of types of charts and books. The bow tie, if you want to show maternal and paternal side at the same time, and maybe even descendants of that couple. You have, yes, right there, you have the close family, and this could be vertical or horizontal. You have ancestors, the most probably common one, and also vertical and horizontal, or descendants, depending if you want to look up generations or down generations. The hourglass is also a very good chart to allow you see both sides of the family. In this case, it's not only the paternal and the maternal, but the ancestors and the descendants. The sun chart, which is currently the only best way to show the more amount of descendants in one chart, not only with all the information you have about them, but also pictures and relationships. The fun chart, which is always fun, but it's kind of an ancestor chart, but leaving empty spaces for those that you are missing. And you can do that for ancestors and for descendants, or the all-in-one. And please hear me out, because this is the very big secret of printing the charts and books. Do not, and I repeat, do not generate an all-in-one chart if you have more than 2,000 or 3,000 people. The reason I'm saying this is because it's going to be huge, and it's going to look very messy, and it's going to drive you crazy. Okay, so use this only if you're working with small projects. It is very good to find floating people that are not related to the main tree, and you may have such in your tree without any problems, but you don't normally want them to have them there. Now, so once you have chosen the right type of tree, you will be able to select the style. MyHeritage has also a few predefined styles with different colors, with different backgrounds, with different ways of putting people in the chart, with images, with no images, with more or less information over there. And then you will be able to customize the chart, starting with the person that you want to create this chart for. And then the title of the chart, the facts, and the individuals, the dates, all the information that you want over there, the amount of generations, the language, if your tree is in more than language, and the printing method. Single page is probably the most common one. If you want to take it to the printing store, that will do that in a big wall size chart, or multi-pages that they can be letter or legal or A4, depending where you are, and make a very nice puzzle for you to put all together. Because if you have a big tree, probably it's going to be a good couple of dozen of pages out of your printer. Once you're sure everything is set, all you need to do is to click the generate chart, and MyHeritage will start working on that. Now, you have noticed here that I have created already a lot of other charts, and the very good news is that all this is totally free. You can create as many charts as you want. They will be saved right there on your website. And because it may take some time, depending on how big and how complicated is your chart. Yes, not your family. We all know our families are complicated, but depending on the chart that you selected, it's going to take a few minutes, and you will receive an email letting you know that the chart is ready, letting you know that you can download that chart without any problem and totally free. It's going to be a PDF format that you can open in any Acrobat software. You will be able also to see it in a browser, or from here, you can just simply go back to the page and see all the charts that you have created. Now, note please that below each one, you have the option to view it as a PDF, to delete if you don't like how it came up, or also to order it as a poster. Okay, let me go back to create a new chart, because I want to go very fast over the more advanced options that MyHeritage gave you. Right now, we're talking about using practically whatever things MyHeritage created. But what if you really want to customize that chart? Well, you can do that with the amount of individuals and how to display them, how to display the facts. You want years, you want full dates, you want to customize that part. You want to customize which facts are shown in the chart. You can do that. You can just select and organize them in whatever order you want. You can decide if you want to see photos and how do you want the photos to be shown and the design. And we have a lot of frames for those pictures for you. We also have some decorations for the title that you can choose, and the colors, and the font size and the font type. Everything that you normally have in your computer, you will have here. And the background, either the predefined images that MyHeritage uploaded, or just regular backgrounds, like no images, but by textures. Or you want to upload your own image and use it, not a problem. Transparency, how hard you want that image to be shown, how dark you want it, or how washed you want that. The frame, you want a different frame, you have different options here, more than 26, 28 different options of frames over there, different lines, different color. In other words, you can customize every detail of your chart, and you can generate each chart as many times as you want until you are totally happy with it. Now, the last option that you have here is to generate a family book. And I know that a lot of you are looking for a good book that you can create with your family tree research. So I have to warn you, because the book is going to be as good as your tree. And if your tree doesn't have a lot of information, then the book is going to look a little bit, should I use the word lame? I don't know. Now, here you will also need to choose the main character, the main person for your book, and then decide the content that the book will show. And if you select everything as I did, your book should look quite big. This is just one example of a book that I generated for myself and for my family some years ago. You will see that you have all the lineages, paternal or maternal, right there. You will have descendants, ancestors. You will have directed and indirect relatives over there, the different family trees with numbers and guides, and your notes, and your sources, and your places, and your dates, and your individuals, and everything that you have in your family tree is going to be recorded in this PDF that you can share with other people, or you can just save it, print it, and give it as a present to other family members. Now, following on this list, the fourth item or the fourth secret that I have for you is timeline. And no, I'm not referring to the timeline of your research. I'm referring to the timeline of your family. And this is something that MyHeritage will create for you automatically under your family tree menu. We're going to show you the people positioned on the timeline based on when they lived. And we're also going to give you color coding so you understand how those individuals are related to you or related to the main person. And the format is going to be kind of a reverse pedigree. So your ancestors are going to be to the left, where years are back in time, and you and the younger generations are going to be most probably to the right. We're also going to show you the age of the people, either current or at death. And we're going to put arrows to connect those people at the exact ages that they had when this new kid was born. So very easily I can see the father was 32 years old, okay? And we're gonna let you hover over the bar of the person to show you the exact dates for birth and death. And if you don't know a date or you're missing any death, you will see how the color fades. So immediately you will notice visually that you are missing information, and you can go ahead and complete or research and find out what you're missing there, all together with important historical periods, so you can understand how was the life for your ancestors, and sometimes even what they did on and when and where they did what they did. So give it a look. We will generate this automatically for you. It's also freely available over there, and you can navigate through your whole family in order to see them with different eyes on the timeline. And if you're not sure how you are related to another person, and this is a question that I get a lot, especially from those family members that are not so into the genealogy or the family tree, but they're always curious on how is that two people are related. So the first way that we show it to you is actually when you either click on the card of a person or in the arrow at the left side of your screen, because this will open what we call the left panel. And in fact, you may have noticed that now MyHeritage will have that relationship all over the website. Whenever we are talking about an individual in your tree, we're going to tell you how you are related to that person. And here is a secret. Whenever your cousins are navigating your tree, they're going to see the relationship according to themselves. So your aunt or uncle will understand that the person that for you may be great grandfather, for them, it's not the great grandfather, it's only the father, for example. So whenever you click on that relationship all over the website, you're going to see this pop up right there. And we will do our best to show you even very complicated relationships. Because if you don't think that your cousin's husband's mother's cousin's mother's-in-law is related to you, well, this is the proof. Now, sometimes you may not recognize this relationship or the relationship in this way, because you may notice that you may be related to a person in different ways. MyHeritage is going to find the fastest or the more direct way that we can find. But what if you want to know relationship between two different individuals that don't include yourself? Well, let's go back to the family menu that today is the protagonist of most of my secrets. And well, I don't find anything there because it is hidden. That's why they call it a secret under the word more. And when you click on more, you will see other features, including this relationship report. In here, yes, we're going to use you as person number one by default, but you can always change it for another person or just leave it and find out the other person in your tree. Once you have selected the two individuals, the graph is going to appear in front of your eyes. Now, this again may be as simple or as complicated depending on the website or the family tree that you're building. You will notice on the right side that you can print this relationship report. You can download it as a PDF. You can also make it a little bit more complicated. No, it's not complicated, the word is more rich, because right now I have it under the basic way, but if I would select the full way, I will be able to see more information, more dates, and more places for each of those individuals. And right from here, in any of those cubes or squares, you will be able to view this person in the tree to view the person's profile, or either go directly to research this person in our search engine. But you know what? It's enough of family trees. Let's go to DNA, because we all know that most of us love DNA. Why I'm saying most of us? Because you may find some surprises over there. So beware. And if not, for some people, DNA is kind of boring. And the reason why it's boring is because you cannot find those ancestors or those family members related to you. Well, one of the reasons may be because you are not fishing in the right pond. So, my suggestion to you is to upload your DNA to MyHeritage. What? Can you do that? Yes. Of course, you could take a MyHeritage DNA directly, but your DNA is not going to be different depending on the company that you are testing. And I know a lot of people have tested in other companies as well. And that is fine. We're all in the same business. But my business is not to do business with you. That is why I'm here to save you some bucks, because you will be able to download your digital file from those companies and upload your digital results into MyHeritage to get the same features that we offer to MyHeritage DNA testers, with a different population of testers, because MyHeritage is selling DNA almost in all the countries around the world. So let me show you how you can do that. Well, you will need an account on MyHeritage, and it can be a free account. Once you have it under DNA, you will see the option to upload your DNA data. And then we're going to show you this screen where you can read all about it and start the process. And the process has to start with you downloading that file from a different provider. And sometimes I will be the first one to remind you. It may not be so easy. That is why we keep right here, very handily, step-by-step instructions on how to do that. Once you have downloaded your digital file, then you have them saved in your computer. Then you can start the process of telling us who this sample is. It's for you or for somebody else. If it's for somebody else, please let us know who this person is, and make sure you have obtained permission to upload his or her DNA into MyHeritage. Once you give us information about the person, you need to tell us if there is a relationship between you and that person, and then you can continue with the process, accepting the terms and conditions and privacy policies that MyHeritage implement for the DNA. Then you need to agree to MyHeritage to process your genetic data. Then you need to make sure that this upload is only for personal use and not allowed to any law enforcement or forensic investigations. Also, you will be able to decide if you want to enable or not DNA matches. Like, if you ask me, why would you upload a DNA to MyHeritage if you don't want the matches? Of course, I want the matches. Then, would you like to participate in researches that MyHeritage does with anonymized DNA? You can say yes or no without any problem. And at the end, we will give you a review of everything that you have accepted or not, and finish the upload process. It may take, again, a few minutes up to a few hours, and you will be able to use all the DNA features that MyHeritage has for you. Now, if you are following MyHeritage, you know that one of the latest tools that we revealed and put at your disposition, it's called the CM Explainer. We announced this just a few months ago, and it is a better way to calculate how you are related to the other person, to your DNA match. The good news is that you don't necessarily need to have a DNA on MyHeritage in order to use this tool. If you go to the website myheritage.com/CM, you will go directly to the CM Explainer. If you have an account to MyHeritage, you can just go under the DNA menu and select DNA tools, and see that now the first one to the left is the CM Explainer. Either way, through the link or the URL or the menu, you will get to this page, which, if you cannot read what it says over there, I will apologize for that. I need to make this screenshot a little bit bigger, definitely. What we're asking you here is the amount of centimorgans that you're sharing with the other person. Now, I have put over there, for example, I think it was 800. The other thing that we will ask you is to put, and this is optional, but it improves the technology, your age, ladies, your real age, okay? It's a secret between you and us, so no worries. And then your match age, because then we will be able to calculate or to predict that relationship even better. So what do I have here is that 800 centimorgans is most probably my first cousin. And that means that the most recent common ancestor, meaning the person or people that gave their DNA to both of us, is, in this case, my grandparents. Now, this may not be totally true or accurate. Right now, it says 55%. It may be different because we may have a different relationship because of multiple things. One thing is if the person is not a full relationship. What means is that not both parents are common to the both individuals. In that case, you can select to show in this diagram if you want half relationship, full relationship, or both. And you have over there explanations of what a full relationship and what a half relationship means. But again, it's basically saying not the two parents gave the DNA to both of you and your DNA match. So now you can see that with an 800 centimorgans, the person can actually be my half nephew, niece, or my half first cousin. And still, MyHeritage will give you some percentages of how probable is, how possible this relationship is to you. Yes, you can use this with no problem. We use it already on the DNA matches. So we have simplified also the relationship terms and using this to give you a more accurate relationship. If we're already talking about these tools, DNA tools that we have for you, one that I really love is the AutoCluster, and this is kind of exclusive for MyHeritage. Where is it? Right there in the DNA tools. You will need to have an account on MyHeritage. You will need to have a DNA test uploaded into the system. What is an AutoCluster? Well, I would say that is the most beautiful way of looking at your matches in a way that you can understand who is related to who. Now, the good news is that you can do that for you and for any other DNA sample that you are managing, as all the tools that MyHeritage has for you. Now, all what you need to do is to click the generate button over there and wait a little bit of time with a little bit of patience, because this is going to be generated for you and send it as an attachment to your email. So while MyHeritage works on that, let me probably explain you a little bit easier and better how the AutoCluster works. If you already have a MyHeritage, a DNA kit on MyHeritage, either from MyHeritage or uploaded, you may be familiar with this page or with this section of a page where we're telling you that not only you are a match to Brian Jansen, in this case, in the upper side, but also to a series of people. And this is what I call triangulation, because you can see very clearly here the triangle that those individuals form. So with this triangulation, I understand that all those people are related to both me and Brian. So based on this, I will be able to take, let's say, more than one individual, and I will be able to compare those two groups. And I can even compare to more than two groups. Now, you don't see names over there because of privacy issues, of course, but you can see faces. And I left faces over there totally in purpose because I want you to be able to identify, for example, my mom. And if those two groups have my mom on it, it means that those two individuals that I am matching are coming from my maternal side. And if I bring a fourth individual and I don't find my mom, I can put it in the other side and bring another individual over there. I don't see my mom, I put it in the other side. And I can keep going doing this with a lot of matches and generate different groups. Of course, that if we're talking about parents, it's going to be very boring because I'm going to have only two groups or two clusters, the maternal and the paternal. Now, can you imagine what's going to happen if I will have groups by grandparents? Yes, you're right. I'm going to have 4 clusters. That will not be very useful. And this is the reason why we limit that AutoCluster not to have your closed matches. So it may go up to your great grandparents, and also will not go too far away, meaning to a very small match, because then it's going to be, I'm not going to say impossible, but very difficult to create those clusters. But let's see them. And the AutoCluster is ready for me, is actually waiting in the email inbox. And I keep them there for archival purposes, because every week you're going to get new matches with new people that are uploading their DNA or taking the test from MyHeritage. And that means that your AutoCluster report is going to look different every week. So I invite you to create those often. So you're getting a zip file or a compressed file. When you double click it, your computer will know what to do with it. It's going to open it and it's going to show you a PDF file, which is an explanation of what is an AutoCluster, a CSV spreadsheet, which is no other thing than numbers that generated that AutoCluster, and my favorite file, the HTML. And you don't need to know what that means. You need to know that this is the file that you want to click in order to open this report in your browser. You're going to be able to see for which kid this report was created and in which time or date it was. You will be able to see this report in a different way or different order. I have to admit, I really prefer this one, which is the regular clusters. And what you're going to see on the upper bar and the sidebar that I have obfuscated for you is the name of your matches. Again, not your parents, grandparents, and not even probably great grandparents. Is going to be limited to the middle grounds. Now, for example, what those color means. First of all, the diagonal is going to be the same people. So if I have Schwartz Singer in one and Schwartz Singer in the upper one, the square or the dot in the where both meet are the same person. So I'm going to obvious that diagonal for now. But it's useful to put the mouse on top of that square to see the last names or the names. Actually, I have hidden the first names for privacy issues. We want to keep privacy always very close. So you can see who is in that cluster. Now, it may be, and by the way, the colors will show you the common people that belong to that cluster. But it may be that two individuals are not a match between themselves, and they're still in the same cluster because each of them matches the rest of the people, but those two don't match between them. Why can that happen? Well, because DNA sometimes is kind of weird, and the amount of DNA that each one has may not be sufficient to discover a match between them. But if both have matches with the others, it means that they belong to the same cluster. Or you may have DNA in common between those two individuals, but they are not in that cluster. So those are the great dots that you're going to see right there. Now, the legend on the side will also show you the individuals in the cluster, and you can very clearly see that this is actually my Singer cluster. You don't recognize Wolf, but you can see that this is the descendant of Singer Wolf. You don't know Sattingers and Finkentals, but I can tell you that they are related by marriage or descendants from marriages from the Singer's family. And then other individuals there, which I don't know, but I can tell you for sure they belong to my Singer branch. Now, below this, you will find numbers, and those numbers will allow you to filter and sort all the matches. You will see the people in the cluster, and those individuals may appear in the DNA match report as smart matches, and that will mean that those are related to you because they appear in your family tree. Now, in this case, yeah, the 7,000 and change are all people in my tree, except for Schumann and Murphy, which I'm still trying to find out how they are related. And for that, MyHeritage allows me to see their pedigree tree and to try to find the common ancestor that gave DNA to both. Almost getting to the last part of the night or the day, the collection catalog. And the reason that I have to show you this is because I want you to always stay up to date. And this is difficult, even for me, because MyHeritage is releasing almost one collection a day. Where and how I can get to this collection catalog? Right there, well, you don't see it now, but this is the search engine. And you don't see it because you need to scroll down in order to find the recently added collections. And as part of the recently added collections, you will be able to see the View All link. This will take you to the collection catalog. You want another way? Very easy. Under Research menu, you have Collection Catalog. And right there, what you are looking at is the collection catalog sorted by the number of records. I prefer to sort it by the last updated because there I can see new or updated collections that MyHeritage has. From the left panel, I can select specific categories or specific collections and see what is available. I can refine my search or my display by the location of those collections, and I can start by a continent, and then after the continent, I can refine even further by a specific country. And if that will not be enough, I can use a keyword and see how many collections match that keyword on MyHeritage. For example, baptism. And there you go. These are all the collections related to baptism in the MyHeritage collection of records. Now, you will notice that not only the word baptism is in the title, but sometimes you may find it in the description. So we will know that that collection actually has baptism. From here, you can also refine by years, because if you are not researching the 1500s or the 1600s, maybe you want to focus your research on a particular centennial, or you only want to see the records that have images. And I will agree with you, we want to see with our two eyes the actual record. And one of my preferred record types has to be censuses, and MyHeritage have them all, really, all of them, not only indexed, not only searchable, but also with the images. And because they can be so many, MyHeritage has a very nice tool, which for some of you is totally a secret, and it's called the Census Helper. This is something we came up with about a year ago when the 1950 census was released. And very easily, we realized that this could be applied not only to the 1950s, but also to the other years, and not only to the US, but for other countries. Right there, you have in your screen and in your chat the URL to go directly to the Census Helper. what is going to happen at the first time is that MyHeritage is going to generate a list of people in your tree that most probably will appear in that specific census. Because the person was alive at the moment, the person was living in the right place at the moment, and other facts that you may have placed in the tree that will give us clues to identify those individuals. Now, here we are referring to the 1950 census, but you can select any other census in the US, or, as I said, England, Wales, Canada, Ireland, Scotland, Denmark, Norway, France. Yes, we have them all. All what you need to do is to select which census you want us to look your tree, or with which eyes of a census you want us to look for your tree, and find you the possible relatives that could have appeared over there, and then click on research. And all the results are going to be focused on that census that you have selected. So this is definitely a time saver. Now, normally here is where I will tell you a bit about what announcements and what MyHeritage is working on. But right now, I'm sorry, I cannot do that if I want to keep my job. But I can tell you a lot of things are coming, and are coming very fast. Huge things. And if you need a reason for those things to happen, well, MyHeritage is celebrating. And then, as I was talking with Jeff before we start, I personally celebrate every day of my life. But MyHeritage is actually celebrating 20 years. And we are planning huge things for this celebration. And MyHeritage is not the only one celebrating. Congratulations, Jeff, because Jeff and Legacy Family Tree Webinars is also celebrating. Now, this is already plus 2,000 webinars that we have for you on Legacy. And sit tight, because even before you blink, we're going to increase that number exponentially. But again, I cannot say anything else but thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, Jeff, for the invitation. I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have put already in the chat, and Jeff are going to read them for me, or this is the time to type more questions. Jeff, give me one more second, because I want to tell everybody that if you're watching this as a recording, well, I'm sorry, I will not be able to answer your questions, but in those two URLs that Jeff is going to put also in the chat and in the description of this webinar, you're going to find all the answers that you're looking for. One is our frequent asked questions section, and the other one is our knowledge base, education.myheritage.com. So now, Jeff is all yours. You can take it from now. Give me just 1 minute to zip a little bit of water, and then ask me all the questions that you have over there.
Okay, in exchange for you teasing us so much here at the end, let's try to stump Daniel with your really hard question. Daniel, I don't care what the topic is. It's always fun to listen to you, but I did care about today's topic. The relationship report, I didn't realize that I can pick any two individuals in my tree, and it would just display that report. So that's something that I got out of this, in addition to many other things. But thank you, Daniel. Let's switch over here. We've got some fun goodies to give away here.
I'm very happy that I can even teach Jeff something.
Well, Daniel, in the chat here, I've got written down one, two, three, four. I've got 5 specific suggestions that our audience has shared for even new things that can come, and that's one of the neat things about these webinars that we do together. As well, we learn together, but we also help to build the tools at MyHeritage. So thanks everyone, really, for sharing your suggestions and your questions, and we'll get to your questions here in just a second. So here's the link to go to the webinar library, and I think today, if I've got this calculated right, if my screenshot is right, today is webinar number 300 in the MyHeritage category of the webinar library. So that's something else that we can celebrate, and I've just put that link there in your chat. If you want to just browse through those to see what kinds of topics are in the library. And then if you want even more Daniel Horowitz, here is the link where you can go and learn from Daniel. Today happens to be class number 39 in his specific webinar library. So if you want a laugh or if you want to learn something good, go and browse his classes here. And the next MyHeritage specific webinar happens to be part of our annual Webtember event, which begins Friday, September 1st. So as part of that event that day, Shannon Combs Bennett will teach DNA matchmaking made easy on MyHeritage. So sign up for that event. And I think, here, I'll stick that Webtember link in your chat so you can browse all the classes that are part of that really fun event. All right, door prize time. So if you're here, you're eligible to win. And our first door prize is the 1-year MyHeritage Complete Plan. And you get everything there on MyHeritage. And I was noticing as Daniel was showing the catalog that we're up now to 19.4 billion historical records, if I remember correctly. And that'll probably... We'll probably have another celebration.
That is correct, yes.
Another celebration when we hit 20. 20 billion and 20 years of MyHeritage and 2,000
It's coming.
Webinars.
Yeah, it's coming. That sounds very good.
There's things happening. All right. Door prize winner, I'm getting out my picker tool here, goes to Renee Hogan. So congrats to you, Renee. You just watched for an email from me. And then we have a MyHeritage DNA test kit. And let's see who our winner for this is. If your name happens to be Walt Caring, you're a winner for this. I hope that made your day. Go and tell everyone you know. All right. Okay, Daniel, we're at the questions part. And indeed, as you invited them, a bunch more questions came in, so thank you. Let's go to this question from Robert, and he's asking about the charts. And he's wondering, this is kind of a technical question, but an interesting one. Are the charts a static image of the data that were created at the time that you created that report, or do they update as you update the data?
Very good question, and the answer is yes. They are an image of the exact time where you hit to create that chart. So even if the chart is in process and you go and you add more information or you delete an individual, the chart will not reflect those last changes. So if you have an old chart, that can maybe be used also as a backup of your tree and make sure that that everything is still there. And if you have added or modified the information, that you will need to generate another chart.
Okay. Thank you. Let's next go to Let's go to Ellen, and she's intrigued about the books. She's wondering, is there a place to type in some brief notes, like a brief paragraph that can accompany any of the charts or any of the chapters in the book?
Well, yes. In your family tree, you have an option to save biographies and notes. And you can add a note for each fact, or you can add a note for a source. And when you do that, those notes are going to appear in that book.
Okay. Thanks so much. Talking about the collection catalog, Tambra is wondering, does MyHeritage, so you talked to us about census records, does MyHeritage also have U.S. state censuses? Those often happened on the fives. Are you aware of state censuses?
I am aware, yes,
Okay.
I know those. And I think we have a few. But my honest answer maybe is I am not sure.
Okay. Well,
You will need to go and look into the collection catalog, look for censuses, and see what we have over there.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's see. Charlene is asking, is there a report that you can print that would be like a photo album?
I will have to say no. We don't have a report for all your pictures.
Okay.
It could be nice, but then yeah, you will be printing pages and pages and pages all together.
Yeah. Well,
no.
Thanks for your question. I've added that as yet another recommendation here. So I'm going to, Daniel, you're going to enjoy this email from me afterwards.
People are going to love that at the office.
Good. Chris is asking about the DNA matches. Is it possible to sort those matches according to the level of confidence?
Technically, no, but you will be able to filter and sort them by the relationship or the amount of DNA that you're sharing with the person. And normally, the more DNA you share, the more confident we are that that is the truth.
Yeah.
Like if you're sharing 3%, and I like to talk about percentages and not about centimorgans, but it's the same. Let's say the 800 centimorgans that I use in my example, those probably are very high confident. When you're going down to, let's say, 30, 50 centimorgans, 1%, probably that confidence will go down to low. And you will see them at the end of your list when you sort them by relationship.
Thank you. Here, I've got another one here that might go to our suggestion list, unless you know something that I don't yet. Susan says about the timeline. I love the timeline. Can one add special world events that impacted their families? That, I think it comes with a default set of these historical, those vertical bars.
Yes.
Can you customize those in any way?
Right. We're talking about like key events in the world history. I'm sure every country has its own events, and we take a few of them into consideration. But no, you cannot customize, you cannot add other events. Definitely food for thought.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. It's fun. It's fun giving you the hard ones, Daniel.
Keep trying.
I know we're trying, but you're doing a really good job. Let's see. Linda said, so talking about the managing trees part, I think that was number 2 today. Uh, how do I rename my tree? Is that possible to do? And if so, where would she go?
Definitely. In Manage Trees, I show you the option to show the settings of the tree. And right there on the settings, the first line is the tree name. We will put by default a name over there, but you can change it to whatever you want with no problem.
Okay, thank you. James says, can you have Daniel explain if I delete my tree and upload a new GEDCOM to be my primary tree? How do I reconnect my DNA results to the new tree, and do I lose anything in that transition?
Okay, so first of all, I will have to say I'm sorry. Who was this,
This is
Jeff?
this
I'm
is
sorry.
James.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
James.
James. Okay, James. So I'm very sorry because what you did was the wrong way of doing it.
Okay.
Let me go back and explain. Your DNA is connected to your tree. The moment you delete the tree, that connection is lost. And unfortunately, we will not know who that DNA belongs to. Now, if you have only 1 or 2 DNA kits, that it's kind of easy. If you manage more DNA kits, it's going to be a headache. To answer your question, you go under DNA, manage DNA kits, and you're going to see all the DNA kits that you have in your website. And you will be able to reassign that DNA kit to a person in your family tree. And I know that I'm trying to explain this without showing you, and you're all trying probably to follow up in your website, and that is the best thing you can do. And you don't need to delete a tree to do that, and because the right way of doing it is uploading a GEDCOM, going to the manage DNA kids under DNA, reassigning those kids that are already assigned. Let's say you have a DNA kid assigned to you, but it's assigned to the old tree. So when you try to reassign that DNA kit, you're going to type your name, and you're going to see your name 2 times. One, which is already assigned to the old tree, and one, the new tree. By the way, I have a trick for you. Go to the tree and just add a letter or the word new next to your first name or last name, and you will be for sure known that this is you or whoever in the new tree. I'm going to give you another tip. How can you know who is who when you lost that connection? Well, if you go to the matches and you know that you are managing your, let's say, father or mother DNA kid, whatever DNA kid matches you as a son, well, probably that is your father's or mother's DNA kid. So that's a way to identify which kid is which and being able to reassign them to the new tree. My strong suggestion is when you're going to do that and you have DNA kits assigned, before you delete the old tree, make sure that all the DNA kits are reassigned to the new tree.
Okay. Thanks for your question, James, and thanks, Daniel, for your detailed explanation. Time for just a couple more here. And Daniel, right after we conclude, for those who are wondering what the benefits of a webinar membership is, I've got a brand new quick 2-minute video to help those understand that. So help me remember that when we're done. Melissa asks, Is it possible to receive an email or some kind of an alert when a specific type of collection is uploaded, such as anything that's new for Australia? What's the best way for her to be alerted about collections that she might be
Okay.
interested in?
So this answer is kind of a yes or no.
Okay.
Let's start with the no. You will not be able to receive an email for specific collections that we are releasing. You will need to come to MyHeritage and be aware and look for those collections every now and then. But the yes part is that MyHeritage has a feature that remembers every search that you did for individuals. And whenever we upload a new collection and whenever we find new records for that name or that individual, then we alert you with an email and we point you to new records that have been uploaded to MyHeritage.
Yeah, that's a yes and no answer. That's very good. Thank you. Harris says, Harris says, when my cousin opens a free MyHeritage account, and if I share a tree that is larger than a free account, will the cousin be able to see the full tree that he developed?
Definitely, yes. The cousin will be able to see your huge tree.
Okay.
And I will guess that you're paying probably to keep that big tree on MyHeritage. Or you know what? You may not be paying because something I didn't said and not because I'm hiding information from you guys. You can upload like 50,000 individual family tree to a free account and they will all go up. You will not be able to edit the tree, change the information, or add more individuals, but they are all going to be there frozen for you. And yes, you can invite other family members to view. They will be able to view them just as you do. And if you're paying, they will be able even to collaborate and add information and pictures to your website.
Fantastic. Well, Daniel, I kind of want you to fill in some of those announcements for us here now, but we also want you to keep your job. I'm just ecstatic about what's coming, and I know
That's because you know.
I know
yes,
some of it.
You know.
So stay tuned, everybody, and we'll talk about it when the time is right, and you will be happy. MyHeritage is not a static company, always innovating and all to help us find our ancestors. So sure, a real treat to be part of the MyHeritage family. Daniel, before we say goodbye and play this short video, any final thoughts?
Well, Jeff, I think that you said it all. Just keep your eyes open and your ears open for the news that will come. Keep playing with your family websites and keep adding more information, because the more information you add, not only you're going to have, of course, a better tree, but we are going to be able to provide you with better records, better matches, and better connections. And you're going to be able to leave a better historical story to your descendants and to your family. Just keep doing genealogy.
Very well said. Thank you, Daniel. Look forward to our next time together, whenever that will be. And thanks to all of you for being part of this webinar here today. We'll see you next time. Bye. Bye, Daniel.